Steven Crowder, going through a divorce, going through a public feud, public spat with Candace Owens. Here's him talking, I believe, about both of those things.
I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side. And no, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is completely permitted.
I love how he's so upset by that. Yeah, I mean, like, she didn't want to be married anymore. And unfortunately, guys, in the state of Texas, I mean, she's got rights. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, you know. I mean, I guess she could just end our marriage. They can't, you know, I mean, I feel like I should be able to compel her to just stay with me against her will, but liberal state of Texas says she don't have to be married to me if she don't want to. Backwards as hell, huh? What an insane lunatic. This dude literally is opining the fact that his wife is not his property or his slave publicly on his show to his audience of backwards ass, knuckle dragging, slack jawed chuds, man. Excellent.
It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life, what I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible.
I mean, in this case, it's probably good. It's probably justified. I mean, yeah, I can't really say I blame this woman. I'm sure that she suffered enough. I hope she gets every penny that she's after. She deserves it for having to put up with your ass.
But in today's legal system, my beliefs don't matter.
Your belief is that someone else should be your, like, slave or property. So, like, I'm sorry, this little weird pity party of, like, I guess my beliefs that my wife shouldn't be allowed to leave me just don't matter. It's like, yeah, and they shouldn't, you weird fuck. Huh?
In Texas, divorce is permitted when one party wants it.
Good.
Period.
Good.
So for well over a year.
Who the fuck is against that? You nightmarishly demonic piece of evil subhuman shit. You literally think your wife should just be your fucking slave? You really think your wife should just be your property where, like, she wants a divorce and you're just like, no, I don't believe in divorce. And she's just stuck with you forever and has no recourse, and that's a better system? That's insane. You're absolutely a lunatic, my friend. And, you know, unlike Michael Knowles, who I know is completely full of shit, I feel like there's sincerity going on here. I guess it's more respectable, but it's also scarier.
Well over a year, in the best interest, as well as physical safety of my children, we've decided to keep this issue private and to resolve it privately with the appropriate attorneys, what have you, legal jargon. And all this one thing.
Yeah, what legal jargon? You know, attorneys, legal jargon. Yeah, sure.
Thing I want to be really clear about is certain. True north here is that my children are blameless, completely without fault, and so we decided to resolve these issues privately, as it's in their best interests, both emotionally and...
If you decided to resolve these issues privately, why am I hearing about all this shit then? Why have you come to me with this then?
Physically, to do so. Now, the other issue is, and this is something that I've kept private for likely far too long.
Yeah, until now.
Many other people knew about this behind the scenes. Some, not all, but some of them in positions of power, influence, leverage, knew of this. They also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar...
The safety of your children is not at stake here. No one in this country is like out there gunning to hurt your kids, whether you're divorced or not. Like, that is not a thing that's happening. So quit bringing that up like that's actually some kind of cogent or, like point to be made here. Because there's no fucking mob of people that's just like, man, I can't wait until Steven Crowder gets divorced from his wife because then we can go hurt his kids. Like, there's not that person. That shit does not exist. It's really weird that you keep acting like it does. It doesn't, just so you know.
You're with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well. Now, some of these threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Steven has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to the situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. Steven purports to be a Christian. I am...
Man, this bitch knows exactly how to do this kind of attack, too. She knows exactly how to do that thing. You see it a lot in movies. I don't really see it a lot in my personal life because I fucking hang around straight shooting people for the most part. There's not a lot of this catty bullshit going on in my circles. If someone's being catty or whatever and doing this, like, people around me are straight shooters for the most part, especially when it comes to like letting people know if they have an issue. But she is great at this type of insult where it's like, it's supposed to sound on some level plausible deniability, like it's not just like a pure insult. But it's like, I honestly feel like Steven just needs prayers right now because he's going through a lot. Anyone acting like this is going through a lot, and that's why we just got to pray for him. And we're all very concerned about poor Steven and that's why we need to pray because he's supposedly some kind of Christian, I guess. So we should probably pray, right, guys? Right? It's like, oh my God, what a hideous, like, for some reason, the fact that it's like got this like flimsy ass pretext of niceness about it makes it even harsher and fucking more mean. Because, like, you just, like, I don't know. It for some reason, it, like, enhances the flavor of the meanness to wrap it in this, like, thin veneer of niceness.
Unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. Maybe if I feel in further defense, something should be said, or maybe if I feel that
maybe if he goes out there and runs his mouth and starts, talking his shit about me, maybe then that comes out, you know what I mean? Maybe then I talk about his divorce, talk about the fact he couldn't keep his marriage together. Wonder what that's all about. A lot of rumors going on around Steven. That's all I'm saying, you guys. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to pray for him because, he's a very good friend of mine. We used to be very close. So I'm going to pray, This bitch is such a fucking snake in the grass that she's actually got me. She's got me fucking sympathizing with Steven Crowder. Like, man, poor Steven having to deal with this psycho bitch. Oof.
the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
Well, my children have a right to privacy. Now, some other...
once again, I gotta say, dude, I don't feel like anyone's trying to invade the privacy of your kids, so... This is about you and her. Like, you're embarrassed by the fact you're getting divorced. You're embarrassed by the messy details of said divorce. Candace Owens is like, be a shame if someone were to talk about that divorce. You're not mad about that because, like, my kids, though. You're mad about that because she's being a bitch to you. You're mad about that because she's trying to fucking say something that embarrasses you. It's about you. It's not about your kids. And you know what? Just be honest about that. No one needs this like little veil of like, but my kids. Like, you're literally using your kids as a fucking shield right now. Like, you're basically like, no, don't attack me because my kids. You're like the guy in the Dead Zone, the politician that grabs a baby from the audience to block a bullet that he thinks is intended for him. Like, you're doing that right now. It's okay for this to just be about you and your pride. You're allowed to still care. You don't have to use your kids as a weird shield / smoke screen for it, okay?
Issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife at a difficult time that it could be used, knowingly putting my children in harm's way. So to those self-styled...
You poor guy, dude. You poor son of a bitch. Yeah, it sucks.
Christians, conservatives, and allies, well, not in my book. Now, if you find yourself, I don't want to get into details, so this is going to likely be the only time I have to address this or want to address this. If you're asking yourself, hey, did X person or did Y person know? The answer is likely yes, which will be made alarmingly clear as this process of discovery continues.
Is this like a big deal? He's getting a divorce. Who gives a shit? The Republican Party elected Donald Trump, who has had multiple divorces. Like, they're not really doing the whole sanctity of marriage thing all that much anymore, guys. Like, they don't care about that as much as they used to. Like, I don't really see how Steven Crowder's divorce is in and of itself a big fucking deal. Like, is there more to this? There's gotta be, right? It can't just be a divorce, because, like, who fucking cares? Does his audience legitimately, is there gonna be like a massive exodus of Steven Crowder? Like, Steven Crowder's getting a divorce? Fuck him then. He's not the man I thought he was. I'm out. I cannot respect this man any longer. Would that happen? I mean, I guess I could see maybe like a few people, like a crazy, weird little fringe contingent or something. But like, vast majority of his audience, I'm pretty sure is gonna be like, who gives a shit? I don't fucking care about his marriage. I just like him fucking in his stupid talking points. That's all I care about. Right? Am I wrong about that? That seems like it'd be about it. So what is this? What bomb was she threatening to fucking drop here? Weird shit. I don't get right-wingers, man. They're a weird lot.
And it also, by the way, makes me that much more appreciative of those who did know about this and in understanding the best interests of my family, my children, kept their word and used discretion. I can't thank you enough. Sincerely, I appreciate it. Won't forget it. It's pretty simple.
So people are saying that it's gayness that he thinks is going to destroy his career. I mean, didn't he already like say something about being bisexual not that long ago? And everyone already knew. I don't think his audience, the way conservatives work, I don't think they really give a shit. Because the main thing about conservatives they don't really care if you're gay. As long as it's like behind closed doors. It's like, don't shove it in my face. A lot of times if it's like a secret thing and it's like you and them shamefully in the shadows and you don't tell nobody, they'll look the other way, kind of. That seems to be more the mentality. And, you know, Steven Crowder is never going to be out and proud like, yeah, you go, or any of that shit. So, like, I don't know. Doesn't really seem like it's that big of a deal. I feel like, a lot of these fucking right-wing guys are gay. It's fucking obvious. Like, Michael Knowles, pretty sure. Not 100% sure, but pretty sure. Steven Crowder, at least bi. I even get the vibe from Walsh sometimes. A lot of these dudes seem like they're a little fruity. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with being that way and then throwing your own people under the bus to grift like racist, bigoted, right-wing, redneck dipshits out there in the world, right? But I think their audiences, by and large, wouldn't really give a shit. Even if it were to come out like he's super gay. Okay, well, you know, long as you don't shove it in my face. Long as he's willing to play the straight man on my YouTube screen or my Rumble screen, who really gives a shit? That's kind of the mentality I get off these people. I think that's right.
Loved a woman so much that I married her. A woman who...
Oh, yeah, you guys are right. That phrasing was highly suspect. And, you know, I loved a woman so much that I married her, you know? Like, woman, you know? With boobs and everything. And I loved her so much, I married her, and somehow it just didn't work out, you know? And so Steven Crowder was off ass blasting or getting ass blasted by other dudes. His wife wanted a divorce for those reasons, and that's what's being held over his head, right? That's what's going on? That's the theory? Okay. Got it.
I still love as the mother of my
Steven,
children.
I don't know, man. Hey, look, I'm going to do the same thing for you that I did for Michael Knowles. Listen, bud. There's a giant contingent of people out there in this world that are going to accept you for being gay. You've already made your money. You've already made your fortune, bro. Your wife's already leaving you. Now's the time. I'm not saying I necessarily know for a fact you're gay or whatever. I don't want to speculate. I don't know what's inside your heart or what's inside your head or any of that stuff. But what I do know is if you're gay, man, just be gay. Just be like, hey, guys, guess what? I, Steven Crowder, am gay, and this was all a grift. I don't actually believe any of that stuff. I just said it for money. I got the money. Fuck it. Fuck it. I've changed my tune. Now I'm just a normal guy. I made my fortune. I did my grift. You know, and then maybe we could make a little documentary like Inside the Grift. And, you know, Michael Knowles can tell all about how he did the grift, and you can tell all about how you did the grift. And the grift can be revealed. And then the American people will maybe be a little bit wiser the next time the grift comes around. And they'll be like, hey, wait a minute. Remember all those guys that told us how the grift works? Then we maybe, I mean, I'm not saying the grift will stop working. Americans are really stupid and they learn very slowly. So I'm sure the grift will continue and change and adapt and all that stuff. But at least for a minute, the American people might be a little bit less susceptible to the grift. You know? If you were to just come forward, reveal your grifting secrets, tell them the goddamn truth, let them know how it all works, you know? You could be a hero, Steven. Not just reformed, but a goddamn hero that fucking topples the grifting industry for a goddamn second, right? And no one's going to ask you to give the money back. You can have the money. Keep the money. Have fun with the money. Let people know, like, hey, still got grifting money. If anything, it keeps it in the public awareness. Steven Crowder still got all that money from grifting. He's still got jet skis and mansions and shit. That's how fucking lucrative it is to be a goddamn grifting piece of shit. You could help shine a light on the grift. And think about this, Steven. You could destroy Candace Owens in the process because she hasn't reached the levels of the grift that you have, right? So you could fucking destroy her ass by revealing all the grifter secrets. Just be like, yeah, Candace Owens, totally full of shit. All these people totally full of shit. Here's the tricks that we use. And let them all know. I know the tricks you use, and I try to tell people as often as I can, but coming from you directly be so much more impactful. People would actually think for a second like, whoa, I was taken in by that. Whoa, that motherfucker got me. That might piss them off, but it's going to make them wiser, better people in the long run. And the next Steven Crowder that comes along is going to have a way rougher time bilking a bunch of people. You could be a hero, Steven. Think about it.
And she wanted something else for her life.
Yeah, whatever. I'm done with you. Done with you, Steven. Boopity-doo. Done with you, Steven. Doopity-doo.